Imagine time not as a straight line, but as a great cosmic cycle, an eternal wheel turning through 4 vast ages, each marking a descent of consciousness, morality, and truth. According to Hindu philosophy, this cycle is called the Chatur Yuga, and it is divided into 4 stages. Satya Yuga, the age of truth, where humanity lived in perfect harmony with Dharma, cosmic order. This was the Golden Age, an era of purity, spiritual wisdom, and divine connection. Treta Yuga, where truth began to fade slightly. Power structures emerged, and while virtue still existed, it had to be upheld through rituals and discipline. Dvapara Yuga, the spiritual decline continued. Ego rose, divine wisdom became fragmented, and materialism began to take root. And now, we are in Kali Yuga, the 4th and final age, the Dark Age, an age not defined by war or cataclysm, but by the silent, slow erosion of meaning. This is a time when truth becomes blurry, when lies are louder than wisdom, when pleasure replaces purpose, and convenience is mistaken for peace. In the ancient Bhagavata Purana, it is written, "In Kali Yuga, wealth alone will be considered the sign of a man's worth. Success will be measured not by virtue, but by status. The liar will be praised as clever, and the wise man will be mocked." This isn't mythology, it's prophecy. Look around. People are disconnected from their own souls, scrolling endlessly, but never still. Authenticity is sacrificed at the altar of popularity. Spirituality is either commercialized or ridiculed. Kali Yuga is not just a time period, it is a spiritual condition. It's a fog that descends upon the soul, a forgetting, a severing of our connection to the eternal. But here's the paradox. The darker the age, the more powerful even a single spark of truth becomes. And that's where hope lies. If you want to know whether Kali Yuga is real, you don't need to study ancient texts, just look around. Truth today is not something we seek, it's something we scroll past. Dharma, righteousness, integrity, cosmic order is collapsing, not just in politics or religion, but in the very structure of daily life. Institutions lie, governments manipulate, not serve. Justice bends to the rich. The sacred is commercialized. The moral is mocked. Media deceives. Headlines are written not to inform, but to inflame. Narratives are curated, not reported. Noise is infinite. Wisdom, extinct. We no longer chase meaning. We chase dopamine. Families fracture. The home, once a sanctuary of tradition and soul, is now filled with silence. Or worse, screens that speak louder than parents. We grow up learning to perform, not to feel, to look good, not to live true. Vanity is worshipped. Success is now measured in followers, not values. Beauty is filtered. Emotions are monetized. Spirituality reduced to a trending hashtag. The ancient sages saw this coming. They warned that in Kali Yuga, those who speak the truth will be hated. The liar will be called clever. The humble will be seen as weak. And the arrogant will be worshipped as strong. Today's world has become a mirror of inversion, where falsehood is rewarded, where ego is celebrated, where depth is drowned in distraction. And perhaps the worst symptom of all, we don't even feel that we're lost. We're so consumed by the external, by updates, trends, alerts, that the inner voice is silenced. We've traded stillness for stimulation, awareness for entertainment. We are not just living in Kali Yuga, we are feeding it. But the first step to awakening is realizing how deeply asleep we are. Kali Yuga is not just an external reality, it's an internal condition, a state of consciousness. The ancient seers called it the Iron Age, but not because of machines or weapons. Iron is cold, rigid, heavy. And that is what the human psyche has become. Look within. We are anxious, not because the world is loud, but because our minds no longer know silence. We are addicted, not just to substances or screens, but to distraction itself. The soul is suffocating beneath layers of false identity. Nihilism spreads like a virus. People no longer ask, "Who am I?" They ask, "Who should I be to be accepted?" Identity is no longer discovered. It's constructed, filtered, performed. We feel disconnected from nature, from each other, from ourselves, but most dangerously, from the higher self. That still, divine voice within, barely a whisper now, buried beneath the noise of 1,000 notifications. This is not coincidence. This is Kali Yuga's most insidious effect. It makes the soul forget that it even exists. Purpose is replaced with performance. Wisdom is replaced with opinion. Depth is replaced with dopamine. We chase meaning with empty hands. We seek peace in chaos. We search for God in mirrors lit by LED lights. The outer world is collapsing, but the true collapse began within. We feel lost, not because the world is broken, but because we are no longer anchored in anything eternal. The Iron Age is not just about society. It is the weight pressing on our spirit, the coldness we feel in our hearts, the rigidity in our thoughts, the heaviness in our existence. But even iron can be melted, and from that fire, something sacred can rise. Only when we see that Kali Yuga lives inside us can we begin the work of reclaiming the light that still survives. Kali Yuga is dark. Yes, but it is not hopeless. In fact, it hides a paradox so powerful, it can transform everything. The darker the world becomes, the brighter even a small flame shines. In the age of Satya Yuga, people were born close to truth. But in Kali Yuga, truth must be chosen, fought for, protected like a sacred fire in a storm. And that choice, that intention, carries unimaginable power. The ancient sages understood this. They didn't fear Kali Yuga. They honored it. Because they knew, even the smallest act of sincerity, even a single moment of remembrance, has 1,000 times more spiritual weight in this age than in any other. Why? Because in an era of mass illusion, even a whisper of truth becomes a roar. The Bhagavat Purana says, merely chanting the name of the divine once in Kali Yuga purifies the soul. Not because it's easy, but because it's rare. In a world that worships ego, choosing humility is a revolution. In a society built on lies, speaking truth is a sacred act. In a time ruled by distraction, a few moments of stillness can shake lifetimes of karma. The illusions of this age, greed, fame, pleasure, identity, they are not subtle. They are exaggerated, bloated, exposed, and that exposure is a gift, because what is seen can be rejected, what is false can be unlearned, and what is untrue can be burned in the fire of awareness. In Satya Yuga, people awaken slowly, like sunlight at dawn. But in Kali Yuga, awakening happens like lightning, quick, sudden, transformative. Yes, the age is poisoned, but within it flows the medicine of liberation. Not in spite of the darkness, but because of it. This is not just the age of collapse. It is the age of rebirth for those who are willing to see through the illusion. Kali Yuga may surround us, but it doesn't have to live within us. Even in an age of collapse, you can choose to become a sanctuary. Even as the world forgets Dharma, you can remember. You don't need to escape society to live spiritually. You need to become untouchable by its illusions. That is the path forward. To create inner Satyug in the middle of Kali Yuga. But how? Not through grand declarations or empty rituals, but through small, sacred choices made every day. Practice self-discipline in a world addicted to indulgence. Say no to what weakens you. Say yes to what sharpens your soul. Meditate, even if it's just for a few minutes a day, not to escape your mind, but to reclaim it. Choose compassion over cynicism. Everyone is wounded in Kali Yuga. Don't add to the noise. Be the silence that heals. Speak truth, not because it's popular, but because it's real. Align with the eternal, not the trending. In a world changing every minute, root yourself in what does not change. Be a lighthouse, not a leaf. A lighthouse stands tall in the storm, unmoved, unshaken. It doesn't run from the darkness. It shines into it. Let your life become that light. Because hope is not passive. Hope is not a feeling. Hope is rebellion against apathy, ignorance, and decay. To live with awareness in Kali Yuga is to walk through fire without being burned, to suffer and still choose love, to be surrounded by lies and still protect the truth. As the ancient seers said, even in the darkest age, Dharma hides in the hearts of the awakened. So awaken. And where there is awakening, there, even in Kali Yuga, Satyug begins again. Kali Yuga is not a punishment, it's a test of your soul's strength, a test of your awareness, a test of whether you will forget who you are or rise and remember. The world around you may fall apart, but the real war is within. Will you choose numbness or consciousness, distraction or discipline, illusion or truth? The scriptures say that those who awaken in Kali Yuga are the bravest souls of all, because they chose to remember the divine in an age that forgot it. So if you're feeling the weight of this world, the chaos, the noise, the emptiness, know this: you are not alone, and you were born for this time. You carry within you the light of Satyug. Let it shine, not just for your salvation, but to light the way for others who are still lost in the dark. This is your time, not to escape the age, but to transcend it. Be the stillness in the storm. Be the truth in a world of lies. Be the beginning of a new age, inside yourself. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching a video. You're remembering something the world wants you to forget. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are awakening. And that alone is an act of revolution in Kali Yuga. Now, I want to hear from you. What truth resonated with you the most today? Do you feel the symptoms of Kali Yuga in your own life? Comment below. Let's create a space for real reflection. Your words might just be the light someone else needs. If this message stirred something in you, like, share, or send it to someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to walk this path of awareness together, subscribe, because this channel is not just about information, it's about transformation. Remember, in the darkest age, even one awakened soul can change the world. Until next time, stay conscious, stay grounded, and never stop seeking the truth.